What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Generational Sports. Josh, in our new home, I know we said it last week, but the new home of Doubted Views. Everybody, welcome into Doubted Views. Hope everybody having a good time as we always do over here. Hey, listen, I'll start it off. I'll start it off correctly, huh? What do you say you go like and sub Doubted Views? Make sure everybody hits the like button, hits that subscribe button, and we can really get it popping. Make sure you hit the comment section as well. We love talking to the people and everything. But with all that being said, we got another wonderful episode to get into. Obviously, got to talk about the NFL playoffs, which we will get into, some UFC stuff. Listen, me and Josh, nerds, got to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Mandalorian, all those good things. So, with that being said, we got to get into the show, but I can't get into the show without knowing how not only Josh is doing, but how my guy CJ's doing. CJ hasn't been on the show in a long time. As you know, maybe some of our holdovers from Unwrapped know, me and CJ always doing the hard count. We're going to get that back up. Not this season because we're going to, we're in the middle of a little transition here. So CJ will probably pop on with us a lot, honestly. Talk all the NFL stuff, and then we'll get back into our football coverage a little bit later on. But Josh, Josh, I lied. I'm not going to start with you because CJ is our wonderful esteemed guest. CJ, how you doing, boss?
I agree with that.
My guys, what's good? God, it's good to see you. I think this is our first show of the year together, right? 2023.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes. Got to christen in the new year with a hard count Gen Z collab. So yes, it's been a while. I think the last time I was on Gen Z, I think I was filling in for you for Connie. Me and Josh was on there talking some UFC, chopping it up. A mixed bag, just like Gen Z Sports. That's what you guys do it over here. So glad to be here, man. Glad to talk to you guys, talk some football. A lot to talk about, man. So glad to talk football with my guys.
Josh, what's going on?
Yeah, honestly, when we started the stream, I was waiting for the intro music.
I don't know why. I know. I gotta. Do you have it still?
I still have it saved somewhere.
If you have it saved, you got to send it to me so I can upload it to. Obviously, we're in a different StreamYard now, so you got to send it to me, and I'll be able to play it at the start of the shows. All right, listen, we might have some new stuff coming too. You never know.
Yeah, but great to have CJ on. But I gotta be honest, it was a tough day yesterday. I had a 5-team parlay.
I saw your tweet
going, and I didn't know either. Jordan Walker, he's second leading scorer in the nation for UAB. Didn't even know he was out until about 10 minutes till tip-off. Because he was out the game before, but then they were like, he's in a walking boot 10 minutes before tip-off. I'm like, okay. And then, the guys fought hard, get a shot off at the end, but the ball was in his fingertips at the buzzer. So, and the parlay was a tough one, but we're bouncing back tonight. I got money on Toronto money line and Penn State money line. Those are
all right. Look at Josh dropping a little betting tips as well.
Honestly, I've been hitting since the new year. I don't know what happened, but 2023 I've been hitting.
It's crazy. He's been hitting, but he hasn't. CJ, it's crazy. He's been hitting, but he hasn't been sharing. I haven't gotten a single text.
Because the second I share, you'll lose, and then I'll never hear the end of it.
No. Because I gave you
exactly
no. Because I gave
and you never gave me any MLB picks, so I don't want to hear it.
See, this is where you're wrong. CJ, he thinks he's clever right now. This is why I was going to say it doesn't matter that even if I lose, because I gave you some season-long MLB bets that didn't hit before, so we would be even, basically.
They didn't hit, though, so why would I give you picks?
Because even if they didn't hit, we would be even. So you just said, you would say things.
Right, I'm going to send you picks for tomorrow because I've already pre-planned for tomorrow, and if they hit, I need you to give me some fire MLB long-term picks.
Well, listen, I'm going to be in the lab once spring training. Pitchers and catchers report next week and everything. Oh, what a wonderful time. Hey, look at that. We got Christian over here. Bet on y'all's teams and got ran through like the Kardashians. I mean, listen. I haven't done a lot of betting. I was so happy when gambling got legalized, sports betting got legalized in New York. I was like, I'm going to start betting all the time, blah, blah, blah. I think I've bet 6 times, maybe. So,
It's that nervousness, man. You get nervous.
It's not.
Put that money down.
I hate losing money.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I hate losing money unless it's on things that I really like. Yo, Josh, peep this, bro. So your boy kind of
Funko.
not a new Funko, new Lego.
Ooh,
Yo, you ready for this?
See it.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Dark
Okay.
Trooper.
the Dark Trooper. Hold up. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Your
Okay, I
boy.
see you, man.
Listen. I'm a builder now. I'm a Funko Pop collector now. The new year is bringing me new things.
I
let me tell you.
I bought some packs the other day, and I pulled an autograph, and like I was kind of doing a slow reveal, and it was a Hornets rookie, and I started to get hyped because it was LaMelo's year, but it wound up being Nick Richards, so I wasn't super hyped after that.
Christian, we saw the Mando trailer. We're gonna hit that at the end of the show. But CJ, listen, we're being selfish here. You collect anything? You will collect anything? Anything at all?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. I want to start doing some jerseys though. Definitely start getting some jerseys.
I started the baseball one slightly. I got the Judge, Trout. I got a Bellinger one because I thought he was going to be a god after that MVP season. Now he's a bum, so it looks bad. So I got those three, but I gotta get some more MLB jerseys as well. All right, listen, whatever. Let's get into everything though, and we will hit the NFL playoffs. But first, we talk about everything here. So let's start with the UFC, huh? Why don't we start with it? Francis Ngannou, he's out. The man is out of the UFC. Dana White said that they offered him a contract. It would have made him the highest paid heavyweight of all time. He still wanted more or whatever. So they said
it was still probably a terrible offer. Not worth what a guy who could get in bare knuckle boxing or
exactly
PFL.
Or if you think, I think he's gonna box somebody.
Yeah, he's gonna get a bag real quick.
Swear the bread is at.
I think he pulls him. See, here's my thing though. I think he's gonna pull McGregor and do the boxing, but he's not as big of a draw. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Ngannou because it's in the UFC he's killing people.
Right.
But
he doesn't have the. I don't think I'm out of pocket. You're saying he doesn't have the star power of McGregor. So
right.
I don't think it's not doing Floyd. It's not doing Floyd McGregor numbers. And who's he gonna fight? I mean,
Tyson Fury, Wilder.
See,
him and Wilder?
I would prefer Wilder.
That's hot.
I would prefer Wilder because if he got in there with Tyson Fury, he would get destroyed.
Yeah,
I mean, Tyson Fury makes normal, skilled boxers look like they're children and never boxed before. So an actual amateur boxer, I don't even need to see that. Deontay Wilder, not really, known for the what's the word I'm looking for here?
Technical skills.
Yeah, not known for the technical abilities. Hell of a right hand, though.
Bronze Bomber.
Oh, both of them got hell of a right hand. That's what make it intriguing.
Somebody
gets starched.
I would rather see a nice little stand and bang than Tyson Fury. But you guys interested? What do you think the next move is, CJ? You think that is the move? You think Josh mentioned bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle fighting, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What do you think the move is?
So first off, when Dana came out on Saturday after the UFC event, he alluded to what you said at the beginning, made him the highest paid heavyweight of all time. What's that number? Obviously, because we never know. Because we saw Paddy Pimblett, right, get 12-12, and he's selling out arenas in London. So I mean, and you just said Ngannou wasn't a draw, right? So what does that number look like? It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. I think as a UFC fan, I wanted to see Jones versus Ngannou. It just made the most sense. It's kind of like a Wilder Fury type fight, really, because we all know about Ngannou's power, and then we know how tactical John is when it comes to standing up and then also on the ground. He's a beast. So it's unfortunate we didn't get to see that. I think maybe in a year or so he could come back. I think it's very possible. I think that door is definitely open. Hopefully, discussions between both parties are cordial. So maybe down the road they could come to a deal. But I think Ngannou wants to make some generational bread. I don't blame him. I see boxing being a big route. Now, like we talked about, it's going to need a really good dance partner. Who's that going to be? Josh talked about Anthony Joshua. That's a good one for me. Wilder, of course. I think Wilder makes the most sense. Showtime, they're gonna make that fight. There really isn't anybody that Wilder can fight. We know Joshua's been running from Deontay for 5 years now, 6 years now. So he doesn't want to see that right hand.
Exactly why boxing sucks, by the way.
The politics between the promoters and the networks. That's what makes it.
After getting into MMA, I don't understand how people sit there and thoroughly enjoy boxing. Like, don't get me wrong, if it's on and there's a mega fight, and like even when ESPN does their stuff, like I sit there and watch because I'm an idiot and I have nothing better to do. But I mean, I can sit and watch a whole MMA event and not care. A whole boxing, I'm good. Give me the co-main and the main event. I'm good.
Yeah, you really got to be passionate about the sport to really sit there and watch it from the prelims. It's the same thing for UFC too. I mean, I watch the prelims at like 5, and then once the main card at 10, I watch the whole thing through because you just never know who's going to be that young star coming up down the road. So, but yeah, Ngannou, I see Wilder, Joshua, Usyk. That's just not a good matchup for him. Usyk is just too technical. He's going to just box circles around Francis. So I think those two guys, I think it makes the most sense. Similar size, power. The build between Deontay and Francis is a little bit different. Deontay is kind of lanky, and I think Joshua and Ngannou kind of have the same build too. 6'4", 6'5", stocky guys. So I think that's the route for Ngannou. Get the bread, and then when John gets the belt, kind of foreshadowing into that next topic. Then they can meet up and fight for the UFC and fight for the belt, because then it'd be like, I never lost the belt, and John will have the belt. And it'll just make a bigger fight. I don't want to see it where it comes where we should have saw Brock versus Fedor 10 years ago. We never got an opportunity to see that because Fedor didn't want to accept that. Probably,
Brock and DC.
Brock and DC, yeah. We missed out on some big heavyweight fights, and that's really the thing that UFC is missing. Because we just talked about boxing. You talk about heavyweight boxing. Ali, Frazier, Tyson. Talk about those big names. The UFC has really just been light heavyweight because John has just been dominating the division for, it seems like 13 years now. So we'll see. Hopefully, I think I'll get the bread, come back, and fight John down the road.
Yeah, Dana said it's been 2 years that they've been doing this negotiation and all that. I don't think Ngannou's going to, if he does go to boxing, I don't think he'll spend a lot of time there. Like you said, CJ, that generational bag, I think he can get that easily in boxing in a one-off. And then I could see him going to PFL or, one of the other MMA organizations that'll give him way more money, because, the fact that Dana even said we offered him to become the highest paid, he didn't say just fighter ever, just heavyweight, so not more than Conor, to keep the biggest draw in the UFC in the moment. It's crazy that he'd say that with all the controversy about fighter pay that's been happening the past 6 months to a year. For him to say that is crazy. But I do think we'll see him back in not too long. I think he's going to go get his bag that he deserves. And John Jones, I think he's going to get the belt back and talk the crap to Ngannou because he wants that fight. John Jones wants that fight. So I think we'll get it down the line. I don't think Dana will be upset about, opening up the checkbook for Ngannou versus John Jones.
Well, speaking of John Jones, he's back. Not only is he back, he has a new contract, an 8-fight contract. So that means he's here for the long run, you would think. Throw a suspension in there possibly, and we should be all good. But he's back. He is fighting for the vacant heavyweight championship, and that'll be with Ciryl Gane, correct? So him and Ciryl Gane, obviously last time we saw Gane, that was the Tai Tuivasa fight, I believe. Listen, he got knocked down, but then he destroyed him. He absolutely destroyed him. But that's the next fight. That's the next big fight. Is there a card this weekend, like a pay-per-view this weekend, right?
Yeah, 2 title fights.
Yes.
Moreno and
Robert Teixeira and Jamal Hill, and then Moreno versus Figueiredo once again.
4, yep.
Number
Yes.
4. Yeah. So we have that this weekend. When did they say when the Gane Jones fight is?
March 4th.
March 4th.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah, T-Mobile leaked it early. They put, you guys saw that? Yeah, they put the poster up, and Dana was hot. He was hot. And he was like,
March is a huge month for UFC. I'm pretty sure Leon versus Usman is March also.
A couple weeks later, that's
a big month.
Yeah, that's going to be a big fight. Oh my gosh, and London too. Sheesh.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
How do we feel about John Jones back though? Listen. The reason I got into the UFC, Josh knows this. He's kind of the reason I got into it, just because he was is a badass. Obviously undefeated, has that one, I guess, no decision, whatever, because of the stupid 12-6 elbows. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But he's back. I'm very excited. He looks freaking huge, by the way, in all those and all the pictures that have come out of him training and everything. It's been a long time since he's fought. I mean, it has been a long time. So you obviously got to worry about some rust. You got to worry about the conditioning and everything. Gon is obviously a very game opponent, although he did lose to Francis with the wrestling. So maybe John decides to take it there and not stand up. Which then again, if he does decide to stand, well, you got elbows and knees and kicks and he's an animal. Josh, how excited are we?
I'm very excited. Obviously, John Jones, without all the controversy, he'd be unanimously the best fighter to ever be in the UFC. But with all the suspensions and problems, it's held him back. But obviously, it's like WWE kind of like when a guy's coming back out of nowhere, it's like, oh my God, really? It just gets you hyped for it. The 8-fight thing kind of confusing me though, because after Gon, like if John Jones does what we think John Jones can do, those next 7 fights, I mean, can run it back. He give him Curtis Blades, Stipe, or something like that. But it's really just going to be a waiting game for Ngannou. So I mean, I'm excited he's back.
Retirement.
Yeah, I mean, just the competition up there. It's been Ngannou just running that for a while. So hopefully someone comes out of the woodworks or something. I mean, that'd be nice. But I'm excited for him. Excited for him to be back.
Scale to 1 to 10, I'm at like a 12. I'm at a 12, man. Just
I'm right there with you.
Similar to you. Definitely 2008, 2009. It's definitely when John, came on the scene. He had that big fight against Stephen Bonner, R.I.P. That was kind of put him on the map. And of course, he was so young, and I think he with that he brought a lot of young fans. He brought a lot of young fans with him. So I'm happy he's back. He's He's the greatest of all time to me. Now I know the PEDs. Plays a big factor into it, but in my opinion, I feel like all of those guys do PEDs. They just do a good job of masking it. So, but he just, he got caught. He got a few times. The layoff, I think it's real. The reason why I think it's real, it's more real than when he fought DC the first time, and then in 2015, and came back and fought him again in 2017 after popping hot for anabolic steroids. Is he's moving up to heavyweight now? So what is he going to look like at the heavyweight division? Gon has already had multiple fights in the division. Just said he already fought for the belt. So Gon is a game fighter. He's a game fighter. He's one of the best strikers in UFC history for my heavyweight. So it's not somebody that John can sleep on. He's light on his feet. He's very quick. He can tag you. He has some hidden power. So it's going to be a tough fight. I think to me it's more of a difficult fight for John than Ngannou, because we know what Ngannou brings to the table, and we know John fairly easily probably take Ngannou down and maul, ground and pound, or sub him, whatever he wanted to do. I think with Gon is he has to be a little bit more tactical before he goes in there, before he tries to shoot for a single or a double, because he could catch him with a counter. So that's how quick Gon is. I don't know if you guys saw Henry Cejudo's on YouTube channel. He's training with John at Fight Ready over there in Arizona, and so that's. Just iron sharpens iron, as we know. Cejudo's about to get ready for a fight too against Aljo, maybe, since he got the torn bicep. So I don't know if he's gonna fight or not.
I think we're gonna get O'Malley versus Cheeto too for interim.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think that's inevitable at bantamweight. I got to see that again, because that first one, come on, it was terrible. It was terrible. But yeah, I'm happy Jones is back. Hopefully he can make it to the fight, like you talked about, because we saw.
Isn't it in Vegas? Isn't it in Vegas?
It is in Vegas. It is in Vegas.
You're setting him up for failure.
I think he's on a straightened path though. I think he wants this. I just want to believe again. I want to believe again.
He did that same weekend. That's when he got inducted to the Hall of Fame for him and Gustafsson for one classic fight, right? And he did the interview, and he was it was positive. I was like, man, I was like, all right, he's on the right, just like what you just said. I was like, he's on the right arrow. One day later, and then he gets locked up. So. Man, I really hope he's locked in. He's ready to go. Stay away from alcohol and drugs, and just focus in on what you need to do. Get this title and make this run. I mean, you're 35. You missed 3 years. 3 years of prime years. Now, granted, heavyweight division, you could be older and fight in that division. We see Stipe, we saw DC, and Ngannou's 36. So that's a favorable division for an older fighter. But I just think, you just don't know. It's just not even the drugs, then the other drugs, the steroids too. So it's so tricky with him, man, and it's unfortunate that it's that way because he's such a great fighter. So happy he's back. Hopefully he could, get to the fight, get to the weigh-in. Once we see Joe Rogan and him talking right on Friday, that's when you'll know. That's when you'll know it's ready to go. So I'm happy John is back. It's going to be a big fight, and I'm excited to see it, man. I want him to see to get that belt.
You just got to get there.
That's it. You just got to get the march forward, bro.
I'll have worries until they show him like when they arrive to the arena. Like when I see that, I'll be like, all right,
right, like fight night, right?
No, not until they ring the bell. No one, he'll stub his toe on the way in, talk about Oh, brother. Listen, for all the things Connor said though, I still think my favorite line of all the shit talking compilations on YouTube still might go to John when he told DC that he beat him after a weekend of cocaine. I mean, that was
the DC John Jones, era, the beef between them. That was amazing. That's kind of what got me in them, because I was a DC fan.
DC got him good though too. When John said he looked like a crackhead in a suit, and DC said, "But I've never actually been a crackhead in a suit." I said, "Okay."
Back and forth. Yeah, those press conferens, those interviews. I know you guys saw the Fox Sports.
He said, "Hey, bitch, you still there?"
Iconic interview. So that's what we want to see from John. And then lastly from me, we saw him fight Anthony. We saw Santos, Reyes, and Smith. Those fights were too close for a guy like John Jones. Now,
I still think he lost that one low key.
Yes, and people still talk about that. Reyes still talk about it. I mean, he hasn't done anything after it. Unfortunately, he's been getting tagged. But but listen, I mean, is he going to get up for this fight? I think so, because it's a new challenge. It's a heavyweight title fight. This is a fresh opponent, somebody that's game and Cyril Gahn. So I think he's going to get up for this one, just because the last one he really got up for was Gustafsson too, because that fight was close, and he kind of wanted to separate those two, separate the fighters, and then establish himself like, this guy's not on my level. So I hope he gets up for this one, man. I want to see him at his A game.
That's all we can ask for. It's all we can ask for. All right, we'll transition though, because it's time to get into what everybody was doing over the weekend, and that would be watching some NFL Super Wildcard Weekend football playoff games. A little bit of a mouthful there, tiny bit. But listen, we'll start it off with the first game that kicked off our weekend. That would be the Seahawks and the 49ers. An easy one for the 49ers. I mean, 41-23. And listen, I've said this for the past few weeks. I'm not backtracking. I'm a little more worried now. I said I think the Eagles can only beat themselves. And I knew the Seahawks were going to get dog walked, don't get me wrong. God, are the 49ers very good at football, though. I mean, first of all, I just want to see an Eagle 49er championship game, because I think those are the two best teams in the NFC, like, fairly. So I think that's, the fun matchup that we would actually get. I think everything else is Georgia TCU. By the way, Josh, you got on me because I said, that I watched, bad weekend for the guy who thinks college football is boring for the other.
You tweeted about the game, the national championship, but you didn't tweet anything for the two amazing semifinal games we got.
Listen,
And what Lucas said, they like to talk when they're up. Yeah.
And listen, that championship game, I sat my players at halftime. That's
what happens when you don't let Alabama be in the playoffs. That's what you get. You want fairness all the way around? That's what you get.
And now college is going to go to a 12-team playoff.
That's going to be so fun, though. That's going to be so fun.
Championship game about to be 95-3.
You don't got to just watch. I mean, they're not all championship games.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Like USC versus Utah in a playoff game is fun.
Listen. It'll be fun. Anyway, listen, we got off track, but that's what Josh, it's our show. We always say that. Yeah, listen, the 49ers look unbelievable. Brock Purdy seems to be a guy. And I had mentioned, weeks ago, before we knew what Brock Purdy was going to turn into, no longer Mr. Irrelevant. Everybody has to make the Mr. Irrelevant thing. Jay Glazer reported, though, that even if Jimmy G comes back, he's perfectly healthy. That don't mean nothing. Brock Purdy is going to be the starter. I mean, I think that was kind of obvious, now. If you would have said that, 2 weeks into Brock Purdy being a starter, I think it would have been a little surprised. But, I mean, what is that, 6 or 7 games in a row, obviously, including that playoff game. Super, super impressive. McCaffrey looks unbelievable. I mean, I don't know how he wouldn't be with Trent Williams being his lead blocker. Trent Williams and Juszczyk, which I mean, just it's not, honestly, it's not fair. I mean, McCaffrey, 15 carries, 119 yards. Now, one of those carries was for 60 yards. So, I don't know if it skews it, but that is one of the reasons. Brock Purdy, 18 to 30, not the greatest completion percentage of all time, but I mean, 332 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, that'll work. Gonna have to say that's gonna work. The defense is just a bunch of absolute dogs. Obviously, listen, Bosa didn't even really produce in this game anything crazy. I don't think. I mean, he had the fumble recovery, but I mean, I don't think he had sacks or anything like that. But I mean, when you got Fred Warner, you got Dre Greenlaw. I mean, they're unbelievable. They're absolutely freaking unbelievable. The Seahawks didn't even look like they belonged on the field, especially, later in that game, 41-23. But yeah, that was something. And I bet, like I said, I had been saying that I think only the Eagles can beat themselves. 49ers and Eagles is what I need injected into my veins, and I hope we get it because that was very impressive. Listen, it was a cool season from the Seahawks. Obviously did a lot more than anybody thought they would. Geno definitely secured some more money. I don't know how much he's going to get. I don't know. I think he stays with the Seahawks, but I mean, hey, you wonder if he looks for, a big bag and some desperate team, tries to give it to him. I think the Seahawks still have a top 5 pick. I still want to say because of the trade. So maybe they let Geno walk. If he wants too much money, they try and draft a quarterback and then reset once again. And Geno goes out there and, hey, Jets, do you need me because you don't have this pick or whatever. So cool season from the Seahawks, but the 49ers look like just an absolute tank. CJ, what'd you get from this game?
The only question I had really from the 49ers from the start of the season was quarterback play. Now, we know Jimmy Garoppolo is hit or miss, especially in the playoffs. His playoff touchdown interception stats are terrible. So that Trey Lance, and unfortunately he got hurt. And then Brock Purdy comes into the field, and man, he's been lights out. He's been lights out ever since he's got this opportunity. He's capitalized on this, and to me, they're the most complete team in the NFL. They have 5 guys that can get yards after the catch: Elijah Mitchell, C-Mac, Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo. And all Purdy has to do is just be a floor general. That's it. Just give it to those guys in the right spots. Put the football where those guys can just catch the football and just run up the field and make it happen. That's what we saw Debo do, go to win 75. Easy work. We saw Ayuk go get a couple big-time plays. But in the first half, Seattle I was like, okay, whoa, this might be upset alert. I was like, okay, Seattle is definitely playing well. And that's what happens when you go up against a team for the third time. Division rivals, they've seen you so many times. They know your tendencies. They know what you like to do. They know your strengths. They know your weaknesses. So I expected that in the first half for it to be close. And in the second half, I mean, Seattle just pulled away. I mean, San Fran just pulled away. And it's just they're just too talented. They're too talented, man. And the key thing, especially for the Cowboys this week and for any team for these next couple of weeks, is you have to tackle. You have to tackle those 5 guys I just mentioned. You just have to. That's the key thing. I mean, if you just get those guys on the ground and tackle them, and let Purdy have long drives down the field to score, that's the best way to stop them. But if they're breaking 1 or 2 tackles and they're going for 50+ yards on a play and getting home run threats with all those guys, it's tough to stop. And who do you double? If you load up the box, you got one-on-ones for the guys on the outside. If you go too high, then you're giving Elijah Mitchell and C-Mac opportunities to get lanes with the run game. They're unstoppable. They're unstoppable, man. And again, credit to Seattle. They had a great year, a year we did not expect. No one expected Seattle to be in the playoffs. We thought they'd be the worst team in the NFC West, and they went out and did a great job. Like you just mentioned, Geno Smith played really well. He played himself into a big-time contract where we'll see. I think you made a good point. What this is depending on what they want to do, depending on what he views his market as in terms of a contract per year. I was a couple of weeks ago, Connie and I, we was talking about, I was saying like 25, maybe 30, because he was playing so well. Now, kind of deal it back, maybe 20, maybe around 20 or so. We'll see. But, there are some teams that are looking for a quarterback, Raiders, Jets. So, Seattle's not willing to, open the checkbook. He could definitely go elsewhere. And like you said, they do have some picks where they could potentially move up and then try to get one of these young guys, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, in the draft. So they have a lot of questions they need to answer. But this is more importantly about the 49ers and how well they played this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, CJ. When you got guys that, like, I think it's more than yards after catch. Like, when you got two guys that can take a 3-yard run or a 4-yard drag route, and any given moment they can break that for 60, 75 yards. Like, you have two guys can do that. You got the best blocking tight end who's also just a dog in the open field too in George Kittle. And the way Ayuk has been, getting better and better week after week. With all that, I mean, it's just almost unstoppable. Plus it's behind a great O-line and a great play caller too. It's just everything's working out well. You can't ask for a better situation if you're Brock Purdy. A young guy, you thought you'd be on practice squad for the year, and all of a sudden you're starting. A lot of that pressure that guys would normally have in that situation is taken off because you have those guys you can rely on. Checkdowns aren't just checkdowns; they're kind of plays you call for them. Seattle, great year. I think their draft class that they just had this past year is going to work out really well for them in the long term with all the picks they have. I think Geno will be back. I don't think they're going to go after a quarterback this year because I think that 1 and 2 they'll be gone. So unless they're going to give Chicago a haul, which I don't see them doing because of how good Geno did, I think they'll probably hold off on quarterback this year and go back to Geno. But, I mean, San Fran's just the best. It's unstoppable right now, especially with the defense too. I mean, you got two of the top players of their position in Bosa and Warner, and then guys like Dre Greenlaw and Javon Kinlaw been playing really well too. Deshaun Gibson came in because they lost someone at safety. I can't remember who at the beginning of the season or in training camp. Came in, 32-year-old, just sitting at home, and now he's been a huge part of their defense as well. So they're just really unstoppable right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. I wonder what Jimmy's gone. I know that. Jimmy, there's no way they bring him back. They don't need to now. Maybe if Purdy, was terrible, you bring back Jimmy because you know that, you still need a backup quarterback, and maybe Jimmy would accept it. I don't know, though. Now Jimmy's gone, though, right?
No chance he comes back. Why?
No. Well, no. That's what I'm saying. He's not coming back. I think he's a Jet or
a Raider.
Yeah, Jet or Raider, something of that nature. But here's my question: you traded all that for Trey Lance. You traded a lot for Trey Lance. You're telling me Brock Purdy leads you to a Super Bowl? Or I mean, hell, he leads you to the championship game. Are you going is it really an open competition? Like, do you just have an open competition?
It has to be an open competition. You don't go and draft that quarterback and give up all those picks and then, just because this quarterback did it, which I agree. It should be like Brock Purdy has the job, Trey Lance, you have to beat him. But I think it's going to be an open competition because of how much they gave up for Trey. I just don't think you can eliminate him from the competition to start with.
It's a hard. I don't know.
It's a good bad problem to have. No. It's a good problem to have where it's like, what quarterback are we going to start? Because this guy has all the tools to become a great quarterback, and this guy just played amazing the opportunity he got. So it's a good problem to have, but making the right decision, that's going to be the tough part.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it almost, the old saying too is that like if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have any. Because you don't, obviously, if you got to have one, so you got to make the right choice. And then when is the choice made? Is it too late? Is it this? Is it that? Like, I don't know. I guess if I was them, it's an open competition. But Brock has, I gave I gave Brock a head start. You know,
when training camp starts, Brock will go with the ones first. Like that will happen if they make it to a Super Bowl. Like he will start with the ones.
Now, is that the line though for you guys? Is it Super Bowl and he gets a head start?
No, I mean he plays good this week. Plays good in the NFC Championship, but the Eagles just play a little bit better. I still think he runs with the ones. If he goes out bad, then maybe Lance and him swap. But if he goes out on a high note, I don't think there's any way he wouldn't be the starter at training camp.
I think they go to the NFC Chip game. He has to get the first team reps in training camp. He has to, because Trey Lance really hasn't proved anything. He hasn't proved anything since he's got drafted. Last year he sat, and this year he's supposed to be the guy and he gets hurt. So it's going to be a difficult situation because it's not like he's a traditional backup where he's like, okay, he can accept that backup role. He was expected to be the guy. So I agree with Josh. I think it will be a competition. He's going to have to work to not only get that starting job, but also get the respect of his teammates too. Because, Brock Purdy is coming there and got the respect of his teammates and they're winning games. So it's going to be a big question in San Fran, man.
That's why I think it's so dangerous to even try and go to Trey Lance and like even make it an open competition, because you saw some of the backlash even earlier in this. I mean, not really backlash, but some of the chatter, earlier in the season where it was like, George Kittle coming out saying like, oh yeah, like, Jimmy led us to this point, blah, blah. You got other people saying like, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild and things like that. Like, so you've already given up on Jimmy, which I find that's cool for this guy who led you to not only multiple championship games, but to a Super Bowl. And then say, Brock leads them to the Super Bowl. They lose, even if they lose in the championship game. You're going to give up on another guy who led you to a championship game, all for this one person. Like, I wonder, I almost wonder if you start having a Zach Wilson situation where the other players look at him and they're like, yo, this spoiled little piece of shit.
I think the only thing with that is we haven't seen Trey Lance enough. We just haven't seen it. Only seen what, 3 games, 3.5, 2.5 games.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal though. Like they realize they're good enough to get a Super Bowl, but that missing piece at quarterback is what sets them to, can this team go back to back? Can this team three-peat? That's what they're trying to get to now. They know they can get there. If they're healthy, they know they can get there. They're trying to find that guy at quarterback where it's like, okay, no one can stop us. And that's why you try to go get a Trey Lance. But, we'll have to see how the injury affects him long-term too. That's going to be a huge question mark too. That's a serious injury he had. So
either way it goes, they're in a good spot because both of those guys aren't getting paid. I mean, this guy was seventh round pick, last
pick in the draft.
He's getting pennies on the dollar. He's barely getting anything.
You can't get paid less than Brock Purdy is right
now. Right, exactly. So
I mean, maybe an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, that's it.
That's still very similar.
That's pretty much exactly. Pretty much the same type of deal. Yeah. So that's and he's a rookie. He's young, and it's not like we're Jimmy. We've seen Jimmy. We know it's a cap. There's a limit on Jimmy's potential. He can only take you but so far. Now, granted, like you just talked about, conference championship games, Super Bowl, but in those games, dirt.
Oh no, he's not doing anything.
Right. So we're looking for that X factor on the center, and Purdy right now is looking like that X factor more than anybody.
Well, speaking of X factors, you would think turnovers would be one in the game, but apparently not, because the Jaguars turned the ball over 5 times, 4 times in the first half via 4 Trevor Lawrence interceptions. They're down 27-0 at one point, and they end up winning the game 31-30. I think it's.
Did you see our records yet? Our records?
Oh no! I think I went 3-3. Josh, you were 5-1.
Yeah, I just wanted you to say it.
That's fine. Listen, we didn't pick the last 2 weeks of the year. I don't even know what our overall record is anymore.
I don't think we picked week 18.
We definitely didn't, because we didn't do a show.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I can look because I still have the spread. Well, not the spreadsheet, but I still have our. I never updated it from our week 17 pick. So let's see. I was 133, 101, and 2. You were 129, 105, and 2. So do the math.
I didn't check because we did pick week 17, but I didn't check our records for that.
We're a mess. But
Not me. I'm a 5-1. You're a mess. I'm not
3-3. It's 500. I mean, and listen, I had a lead.
A lot better.
You know who's 2-time defending pick champion.
What have you done for me lately? That's my question. Postseason is where the money's made. And
listen, technically the Rams are still Super Bowl champion.
Good over here. I'm doing pretty good over here.
Yeah,
you can be the Cowboys over there living in the, in the 90s.
Cowboys. I'm the Patriots. I'm a back-to-back champion.
No, you're living in the old days. You said back-to-back.
I still had last time we made picks.
I'm talking about
the last time we made picks. I had a better record than you. I can live in the
last time we made picks was last week. And I
won. Okay. So now we're celebrating. So what? You want a battle? You won the battle of Little Bighorn or something?
You say the show it's a little different now. You know, I'm up.
Yo, you guys are crazy. Man.
This is like, it's Battle of the Bastards.
Crying.
But I'm gonna take.
So I'm Jon Snow. Though. Let's just get that straight.
That's fine. I'll be Arya. Take out the Night King, real G. Even though
no clue what you're talking about, but
the Battle of the Bastards was the terrible person with Sansa. I'm just letting you know. I'm Jon Snow in this situation.
You know, whatever helps you sleep at night, whatever helps you lay that bandana head down on that pillow.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, Jaguars make an unbelievable comeback. And listen, I have one thing to say out of this whole game. They fired the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. If you don't fire Brandon Staley after losing this game, there is no reason to ever fire him. There's no reason to ever fire him. Because I can understand losing a playoff game, whatever. Giving up the third biggest comeback in playoff history, I believe, because I think the other one is the Bills.
And the Oilers, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Bills and the Oilers, obviously the Patriots and the Falcons.
Mm-hmm. Was it the Colts, Chiefs?
You're right.
Chiefs, yeah.
Colts, Chiefs, and then this. So you fired the offensive coordinator. Like, I know you got to throw a bone to the fans. Like, here's some chum in the water. But, like, Sean Payton is actively interviewing with people. Oh, you don't want to give up a first-round pick. You're going to have to pay him $15 million probably. It doesn't count against your salary cap. You're billionaires. You'll be all right. Listen, the Commanders are a joke of a franchise. Dan Snyder is an awful person. I saw Ian Rappaport today say they might sell for $6 billion. 6 with a B.
Nation's capital.
You're in LA.
Yeah.
The most expensive place probably in the world.
Yes.
And you own a football team, which makes probably the most revenue besides European or Spanish soccer, maybe. I don't know, because I don't know how those teams do, honestly. I'm sure you can afford the money to hire Sean Payton. You pair him up with Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Listen, even Everett had a good year at tight end. Palmer looked good.
DeAndre Carter, dog.
Austin Eckler. You got Joey Bosa, Derwin James. The offensive line is good.
J.C. Jackson coming back.
And you lost. You didn't. First of all, you don't win your division, which, listen, cool. I understand. The Chiefs are in your division. You're not even the top wild card seed, by the way. And you give up that comeback, and Brandon Staley keeps his job. What does a guy have to do to get fired around here? I'm flabbergasted. I've been led. Shout out Stephen A. I've been led astray. But listen, good. Yeah, run amok, straight up deceived. I think the turning point in the game was that fourth interception, and they held him to a field goal. No, I lied. It was the fumble on the punt. Hit the dude right in the head, and then they held him to a field goal. That made it 27-0. And then the Jags scored that touchdown at the end of the half, made it 27-7. And then from there, it was, touchdown. Okay, Chargers come back, kick a field goal, 30-14. You're still fine, whatever. Then the Jags score another touchdown, 30-20. You're like, whoa, okay, let's take a little break here. And then another touchdown, 5 minutes left in the game, 30-28. And then I think right after that, the Chargers went 3 and out. I mean, they had a lot of 3 and outs in this game. And then obviously, listen, Doug Peterson, that's go for 2. Also, it should have been a pass interference on the Jags. Remember when I think the Chargers went for 2 at one point, didn't they? Or did they? Or they missed an extra point or something? I don't know, but something that it should have been 31-28 technically. But something happened. I can't remember what it was now. And then listen, Doug Peterson got 2 of the better play calls I've seen. He got the Philly special in the Super Bowl, and then he pulled out that 1933, whatever the hell, T-bone, wishbone formation with 3 people in the backfield. It hands it off. Everybody thinks it's going to be a sneak. ETN around the corner. I mean, and I was watching McAfee today, and AQ Shipley kind of broke it down. If you look at the play again, if they crash middle, you hand it off. If somebody was there waiting for him, you hand it off to ETN. Lawrence could have kept it on a bootleg. Like there were a lot of options on that play. I won't be surprised if they pull it out again. But ETN, down the sideline, I think gains 25 yards, makes it a chip shot of a field goal, and Jags complete one of the better comebacks in playoff history. But I just don't understand how Brandon Staley has a job. It makes my mind is blown by decisions every day.
I think to make a case, and I think he shouldn't keep his job, but to make a case is one, they got to the playoffs. That's what we wanted, right? We wanted to see Herbert in the playoffs. We didn't see that his first 2 seasons in the NFL. Got to 10 games. Like you said, they're not going to win the division. Kansas City runs the AFC West. And in the first half, the defensive-minded head coach got a bunch of takeaways. And in the second half, their offense wasn't able to, continue to score. And you could argue their defense was the reason why the Chargers were able to score as much, because they had good field position because of those turnovers. So, I'm Spanos and I'm those guys up front in the front office. I'm probably looking at it that way. And Herbert, Keenan Allen, all those guys, they gave a vote of confidence for a guy like Brandon Staley. They wanted him to come back. So they felt like,
when did the players ever really say, "I'd love for my coach to get fired"?
We've seen it. We've seen guys.
DJ Moore made a couple faces in press conferences.
Yeah, making a face is different than saying, "Look, and my coach, by the way, garbage. Can't wait for him to get out of the door."
We've seen some guys make some faces or have a couple of interesting quotes in regards to their head coach, but they seem to like Staley, man. They really do. He's an aggressive guy. We saw last year. Sometimes those going forward on 4th down work. Other times it did not. Man, this game was really a tale of 2 halves because Trevor Lawrence, he looked so nervous. He looked tense in the first. He was forcing passes. I thought Asante Samuel Jr. was about to get like 5, 6. I think he was about to go for the record for the most interceptions in the game.
Seemed like
he was going crazy. Yeah, he was going crazy. I mean, that was unbelievable. The ball just stuck to his hands. And Trevor, he was just forcing. He was just forcing these passes. I think the Chargers did a really good job of biting on all those short intermediate routes that the Jaguars were playing or were calling. Second half, they capitalized on that. They capitalized on the Chargers' aggressiveness on those short to intermediate routes because once those routes, then you see Zay Jones go over the top and get that big touchdown. So that Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning head coach, which is on the street. Shad Khan, that was the best hire he's ever made as the owner of the
Jags.
No, as a whole. And that, we sleep on self-awareness, right? We sleep on because a lot of these they have egos, right? Oh, no, this is my hire. This is the right thing. No, I'm not going to fire this guy after 1 year. Let's give it 1 more year. He was self-aware. He understood, listen, team is not buying into Urban. And then Urban, of course, did things on his own, which hurt his job security. You got a guy, Doug Peterson was smart, and Sean Payton too. Just chill for a year, just chill out, and let the landscape present itself and see where you could go. A young quarterback, and he's like, oh yeah, let me capitalize on this first year as the Jaguars head coach, they go to the playoffs and they win and they get a playoff win. That touchdown drive right before the half really gave them a lot of confidence going into the second half. And I think they really did a great job. And Trevor just really picked it up. You go from 4 interceptions to 4 touchdowns. I mean, it was up in the air. And I think a lot of people were shocked too, because I picked the Jaguars to win that game just because I did not trust the Chargers. I didn't trust the Chargers. You just don't. I tweeted this out on Sunday after the Vikings sold. That was like the Chargers and the Vikings, they're twins. They're just in different conferences. They do the same thing. We expect so much of them in the regular season. They look great. They put up all these numbers in the regular season, and then come playoff time or right towards the end of the season when it's time to get to the playoffs, something happens, they sell. And just unfortunately in this playoff game, that's exactly what happened to the Chargers, man. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but more importantly, it's a great story for Jacksonville. That was a big play on that 4th and 1. ETN staying in bounds too, staying in bounds, taking time off the clock. That field goal was it was close. It was there. It was getting a little. I was like, oh man, no way they're about to come back and lose like this. But he made it. You saw him the kicker putting the cross out. He was thinking, baby Jesus, that it just leaned in real fast. So great victory. It gives a team like this a lot of confidence too. A fairly young team with a lot of confidence. Trevor Lawrence. We should have saw this a couple weeks ago. Remember, they were down against Dallas, and they came back on their home field, and they showed a lot of resiliency then. And I think they kind of maybe went back to that mindset in this game. So big win for Jacksonville. And I mean, they got a lot of confidence. So we'll see how they do against Kansas City.
Yeah, normally when you see a quarterback throw even 2 interceptions in the first half, they won't go throw the ball normally how they do. They'll be way more cautious. But 4 interceptions in the first half, and Trevor Lawrence is still throwing dangerous passes, because that's what you want to see out of your quarterback if he still believes in himself and knows how good he is. That's huge for him. I mean, because he could have easily crumbled, thrown a couple more in that second half, but he didn't. And that's also great coaching by Doug Peterson to, just tell him, like, hey, keep playing your game, keep doing what you're doing. The Chargers, I also picked the Jags because I said it, the Chargers should be really good, but they're not. They should be so easy to pick every week, but you can't because it just hasn't clicked and it hasn't worked. And I think now, kind of nowadays in the league, you got to do a lot of bad to get fired. Like, think about how many games Nathaniel Hackett coached, and you're like, how is he still this head coach?
Well, did you hear that the NFL sent out a memo to the teams of like, yo, y'all got to chill with firing all these coaches with like,
was it like $900 million that they used?
Yeah, because they sent out a memo. You guys got to chill firing all these coaches with like 5 years left on their contract.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Wilkes, the amount of games he won this year matched Matt Rule's most wins he ever had in the season too, and he didn't even have a full season to coach. So it takes a lot for a guy to get fired. Staley, I mean, they made the playoffs. They had a lead. I didn't expect them to get fired. I know everybody wants them to get fired because it doesn't look like it's working. But I mean, if a guy is good with words as a head coach, you can keep that job for a long time. I mean, Mike Zimmer was in Minnesota forever and didn't accomplish anything. Just got fired last season. So I don't think the Chargers will make too many moves. Lombardi, I think it was very expected. If they're not going to fire Staley, he was definitely going to be gone. Lots of good OCs out there. I mean, Joe Brady might get another chance. That'd be a good connection. He's been working with Josh Allen all year. If he got to work with Herbert, I'm sure he have a lot of things up his sleeve he could do. I mean, a lot of good OCs out there.
Frank Reich is being talked about a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good coaches out there right now for this offseason, but hell of a win by the Jags. I mean, that's they've been doing that for the past few weeks, though. I mean, you brought up the Dallas game. They were down against Tennessee. They were down 9 with like 2 minutes left against Baltimore. They've been pulling out these wins all season, and this was just another one. I love to see it for them too, because we clowned them all offseason. Christian Kirk, like $70 million. Are you kidding me? Evan Ingram. He doesn't have hands. And both those guys had amazing seasons. It's good to see for them.
Evan Ingram's a dog all of a sudden.
Yeah. Crazy.
Giant fans are looking at that like, where was that when you were here?
Well, it just makes you think, if Dayball was there maybe a year before, what he would look like in that Giant uniform. But it's both of those guys stepped up big time. Zay Jones,
Zay Jones.
Marvin Jones, all four of
And
those.
ETN for the full year.
ETN for the full year. So this is a team where, I mean, they should run this division because the other three teams don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Now we'll find out what the Colts do and the Texans do. Obviously, they're up there at the top pick. They're going to get a quarterback in this draft. So we'll see what they do. But right now, I mean, you got to put all your stock in the Jacksonville in regards to running that AFC South.
I have to. I mean, CJ, you said it before, young team. You know, they say it. Sometimes it's better to be young and dumb. You don't know that you're supposed to be bad. That's why you see it. You know, I mean, listen, you NBA guys over here saw at the beginning of the year, Jazz is supposed to be awful. One of the best teams to start the year. Sometimes that's why – listen, beginning of the year, all those bad teams, they say it all the time. You don't know that you're bad yet. Everybody's 0-0. You're a fresh start. And, I mean, Jags make the playoffs now. They're young. They're probably, look, we can do this all the time now. We've come back on teams before. Sometimes you just don't know better. It's usually those old veterans that are like, damn, I've been here for 10 years. For the last 10 years when we're down 17-0, nothing good has ever happened. The young guys are like, oh, we're down 17-0. Yeah, a couple weeks ago we won that game. So sometimes it's just better to be that way. We move on, though, to the Dolphins and the Bills. Listen, this was a game that I thought was going to end very poorly for the Dolphins. Didn't have much faith, obviously starting Skylar Thompson, which, by the way, I don't know if it was him or Mike McDaniel, that it was the worst clock management in a game I've ever seen in NFL history. I think without timeouts, they probably would have had 7 or 8 delay of game calls. Probably got away with about 7 or 8 delay of game calls. Probably got delay of game called on them, 3, 4, 5 times. It was unbelievable. So I don't know if they weren't getting the play call in, if Thompson never looked up at the scoreboard to see where the play clock was at. But that was a tough watch for a little bit. Bills got out to that good lead, though, 17-0. Then, Miami chipped away, field goal. You made it 17-9. You're like, well, okay, this is a little bit more competitive than I thought it would be. And then I believe that's when they strip-sacked Josh Allen. Or am I wrong?
Might have been Xavier Howard pick.
Okay, it might have been
deep ball. With the deep ball.
Yes.
Throw
it to Diggs, yeah.
Yes, you're right. And then they go down, score a touchdown, 17-7. Bills go down with 30 seconds left, make it 20-7, which was a nice drive out of them. And then that's when it was coming out of halftime. You're like, okay, the Bills up 20-17, go out there, score a touchdown. We played with them in the first half. Let's put them to bed now. Strip sack Josh Allen, touchdown, fumble recovery, 24-20 Miami. And you're like, whoa. The Dolphins got a lead here. We were, like you said before, CJ, upset alert for the Seahawks and the 49ers. The Seahawks were winning that game at halftime. I was looking 24-20, and I was like, I'm a little freaked out right now. I don't understand how this is possibly happening. And then from there on, it was kind of just, what the Bills wanted to do. They scored a touchdown, 27-24. Another touchdown, which was a beautiful pass from Josh Allen to Gabe Davis in the corner of that end zone. Made it 34-24. Start of the fourth quarter, though, Dolphins go down. They do end up scoring another touchdown, made it 34-31, and that ended the scoring. It got interesting at the end of the game. I still don't think that was a first down, honestly.
No.
That the Bills got to end that game. Don't think it was a first down, but they gave it to them after the replay and everything. Speaking of replay, this expedited replay that they've been doing a lot of in the playoffs, why haven't we done this in the regular season more? I mean, maybe because there's more games going on, I guess. But this expedited replay is fantastic. You don't got to throw the challenge flag. Simple mistakes are being fixed fairly easily, so it's not stopping the game. I've been loving it. It's like McDonald's out here.
It's about time.
No, about time ain't even a word.
Hundreds of cameras on the field. I mean,
it's technology. We got to make phone calls, 3 different phone calls to get it right.
And I got to go. That's the part I've never understood. The officials aren't even making the replay decision. It's somebody in New York. Why do they walk over, put a headset on, and look at a TV? What is the point of that? Just talk to me in my earpiece. I should be able to stand at the 50-yard line like this, like an idiot, and just wait for you to say whatever you got to say. It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Big takeaway for this game is, I thought the Bills were, this big unstoppable force. I just think it kind of shows that they can be beat. Obviously, their pass rush has suffered a lot since the Von Miller injury. So you obviously hope that they got to fix that. And Josh Allen has to stop the turnover thing too. Another red zone interception. He got rid of that for a little bit, and then obviously in this game, it bit him again. So if you're going to do that against, the Bengals and the Chiefs, or you make it to the Super Bowl, somebody like the Eagles or the 49ers or whoever you would play, you're going to end up losing those games. But a tough battle out of Miami. You wonder what would have happened if they had Tua, maybe even if they had Teddy Bridgewater, maybe some of those. I mean, I would hope most of those delay game calls don't happen, mess up momentum and everything. But a surprisingly very fun game. And the Bills move on. They'll face the Bengals. Obviously, Dolphins eliminated. Don't know what Tua's status is moving forward, but I mean, apparently they're planning like he's coming back next season. I wonder if he takes some time in the offseason and reflects on everything. You never know. But Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, I think if Tua plays this game, the Bills don't win that. I don't think there's a chance they do with the turnovers they were making. If Miami had any ability to move the ball, all the 3-and-outs they had, or just very short drives. You talk about when the Bills came out, fumbled, lost the lead. It was 24-20. Then the Bills do score. Skylar Thompson threw a pick inside his own 10 on 3rd and 19. Like, he threw a very dumb interception there that set up that Gabe Davis touchdown. I don't think Tua makes that play. I don't think Mike McDaniel is struggling as much as he was with play call and time management with a guy like Tua or even Teddy out there. I don't know if they win with Teddy, but I think they do win with Tua. The Bills, I mean, you're right. Josh Allen's got a – I mean, we see the cannon, we see the accuracy. You don't got to take shots every time, though.
No.
Like when they're doing cover zero and Diggs is one-on-one full sprint, yeah, you can take a shot there. But, when John Brown has got a little bit of separation, you don't have to take a shot there.
He does not like hitting singles. He does not like hitting singles.
No,
He's a big triple and home run guy. Yeah,
he likes the big plays. Which isn't a terrible thing. He just got to, cut down on all the risk he's taken. But, I mean, they cannot play this week. Like, who do they have this week?
Bengals.
The Bengals. Yeah, they can't play like that this week. It's just not an option. The Bengals offense didn't look amazing this past week either. But, I mean, I still think if this is just turnover the way they did with Miami, I think the Bengals have a better chance of coming out on top in that situation. But Miami played a hell of a game. That defense did all they could to give that offense as many opportunities. Skylar Thompson started off bad, but he wound up having a solid game towards the end. I mean, that's as much as you can ask for a guy like him with all those. And, I mean, the receivers weren't really helping him either with all the drops they had. So many drops from – I mean, Waddle finished with no catches.
Waddle had a touchdown if he catches that bad.
You can't have that with a guy who – 2 receivers that combined for 3,000 yards this season. You just can't have 0 catches from one of those guys when your quarterback needs you guys to make plays, yards after catch. You need them to step up, but they did what they could. Buffalo barely escaped in my eyes. I think those late touchdowns were just make the score look like they didn't, but they can't play like that next week.
Underrated. I think we're really underrating seeing the same team 3 times in a row. It's a factor.
That was going to be my follow-up question because a lot of these games were 3 times. I mean, Seahawks, 49ers, Bills, Dolphins, Ravens, Bengals.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. It's a factor, guys. It really is. And the opposing team, they just have so much confidence. Like, we've seen this team already. We know what they want to do. Doesn't matter.
Surprises.
Exactly. It's nothing that's going to surprise us. You just got to go out there and play and make the plays necessary on both ends. I was shocked. I was really shocked the way Miami played. I was really impressed by the defense. They capitalized and got those interceptions. I think we sleep on that too. I mean, these guys, when it's time, when we see DBs, it's right there. They get the pick and they drop it. They get stone hands. Xavier Howard. I'm blanking
That's
on
why you're not a wide receiver.
Javon Holland.
Javon Holland. Yeah. So I got the other one off the tip pass for the interception. They made some big plays, man. They made some big plays. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they didn't step up enough for me. They didn't. they're body catchers.
Yeah.
And I just
CJ.
it's so cringe when these guys body catch. Now listen, it's situational. If there's 3 guys behind you, you feel like you're about to get hit. Yeah, of course you want to bring it to your body, secure it because you're about to get hit, brace the hit, and keep it close to you. But if you're wide open, why are you cuffing the football to your chest? Bro, it just makes no sense to me. You got 2 hands and one
it's
chest.
just the way they've always done it. That's just some players are used to using their hands more. A lot of guys, they're used to curl routes or the deep routes like Tyreek's been getting his whole career straight into the body, so they're not instinctually putting their hands out to grab it, and it causes problems. You saw this past week.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so weird. It's just so weird to me, man. I mean, like I said, you have 2 hands and one chest. That's just simple math to me. That's just simple math to me. Why are you bringing the football to your body?
You don't do jugs machines. He doesn't. If he does, it's right in the middle.
Right, yeah, it was so many plays that they had, and Skylar Thompson. I mean, the pass attempt to completion percentage. The completion percentage wasn't great, but he made timely plays here and there.
Awful.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good by any means, but he made timely plays when necessary. And I agree. If Teddy's in there,
18 of 45.
Sheesh, 18. That's bad. That's bad.
Some would say that's almost Cam Newton like.
Yeah, there he goes. He's been losing to me this episode.
Cam wasn't that bad. Cam wasn't that bad. He was Skylar.
Cam went 9 for 50 every game. That's how cocky he is.
I had to get him going. I had to.
Crazy. But listen, he's a rookie, right? He's a rookie, I believe, right, Skylar?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he's a young guy. He's a young guy. So that's a lot to ask for him. Go into a playoff game and be a hero, especially when you got your 2 playmakers not stepping up in that first half. They played well. They played well. Now for Buffalo, you guys made a good point. You said Josh Allen, he loves to go for the home run. He doesn't like to do the singles. The singles create the home run. So Joe Brady, Ken Dorsey, those guys, they have to be in his ear next week and let them know, listen, take those checkdowns. Take those checkdowns because those are going to open up the big play. Those linebackers are going to come down. Those safeties are going to bite. If you keep doing those short to intermediate passes in the beginning, then you could go to deep route for Davis.
You got him for a reason.
Yes, exactly. Home run threat. We know Diggs' home run threat. Gabe Davis, I believe, averages over 10 yards a catch. So
the best playoff wide receiver of all time.
Yeah, he shows up. He shows up during this time of the year. So just be patient. I think he just needs to be a little bit more patient with the football because if he's turning the ball over like that against Cincinnati, it's curtains. It's curtains because Cincinnati got some guys. They got some guys over there too that's going to put up 7.
Real quick,
consecutively over and over again. So just mental notes for a guy like Josh Allen. They got by, they got the win, but definitely they have a lot they need to clean up. And we'll see if they're able to do that against a team against Cincinnati. That's a big game. A lot, we didn't get to talk about what happened on Monday night a couple weeks ago with Damar Hamlin. And the situation on the game and the neutral sighting because they weren't able to complete that game. This is a big Buffalo. This is a big game. This is a monumental game. Joe versus Josh next on Sunday. So it's a lot of storylines and a lot of things in place. So Buffalo, they're gonna have to step up and not turn the ball over as much as they did against Miami.
I'll say this too. I think I know that Micah Hyde might be able to return for this game. So now you have both your safeties back with Poyer and Hyde. I think somebody else was practicing too. I can't remember exactly who it was. It was somebody on the defensive side of the ball, I believe, started practicing as well. So this might be, obviously minus Von Miller might be the healthiest that they've been. So, Bengals and Bills. We wanted to see it a couple weeks ago, obviously. Extenuating circumstances. Nothing like that will ever happen again, hopefully. And obviously, great news that tomorrow's fine. Out of the house, everything.
Yes.
By the way, I think he leads him onto the field Sunday. I really do.
I could see that.
And if he does, the game's over before it started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to talk about a guy to play for. They got everybody got the threes up. It's that's going to be a very emotional scene if he's able to do that. And the last one for the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. Yo, you got to lay off the E6, man. Tell that guy to. You got to tell that guy to lay off the E6. What is he doing?
That's why he couldn't get the play call in. He had a nicotine rush going on.
Serious? That's what you're doing, bro?
No, that was a Sharpie.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like a. It didn't look like an e-cig.
No, it definitely.
When I kept watching, it looked like a vape. But if it was, come on, champ, come on.
I think it was one of those. The Sharpie was here, and then he pulled, and then
and then
when you were a little kid, go outside.
That's such an ignorant thing to do too, though. He's a character. He's a character.
Nah, it was just like it's just no way. There's no way he's vaping during a playoff game in Buffalo. Come on,
that'd be hilarious.
Though. I used to feel like him back in the day as a kid, talking about going outside when it was cold. Oh yeah.
Could you imagine though, like 2-minute drive to win the game, and they just pan to him, and he just a huge cloud.
No. Man, he's got one of the like box mod ones. He's doing smoke tricks. He's got the. Well, he's doing the little O's and.
Yeah,
like those people you see on Instagram, the Vape Olympics are doing tornadoes.
Right, that'd be hilarious.
that'd be crazy, man. That'd be crazy.
Well, listen, I might have not done well in our picks, but you want to talk about being spot on about something, just absolutely 100% correct, and both of you can vouch for me right now. Did I not say the Vikings were just absolute frauds? And whoever they played, they were going to lose in the first round. Did I not try and tell everybody that the Vikings are frauds? Josh, I might even pick them in our segment. I don't even remember, if I'm being honest with you. But
you picked them.
I did? Well, listen.
I think you did.
I didn't listen to myself then, but I still called it. Frauds from the beginning, a negative 3-point differential for a 13-3 team. Kirk Cousins, shrinks. Listen, did he play a terrible game? No. But did he play well? I would not exactly say so. I mean, 31-39. Yeah, that's cool. 273, 2 touchdowns. I mean, whatever.
That's what he does. He always does that.
Yeah, exactly. So it was.
That's good.
That's correct.
You know what that performance is? Kirk Cousins. It's mid. That is exactly what it is.
Right.
That is exactly what it is. Daniel Jones, best game of his career by far. 24, 35, 301, 2 touchdowns, over 70 yards rushing, had a touchdown on the ground as well, 17 carries. I mean, listen, by about the second drive, he just kept taking off, and the Vikings are just standing there like nothing's going on. They didn't make any type of adjustments when it came to that. So that was obviously not the greatest thing for them to see. But listen, I tried telling everybody the Vikings are frauds, and once again, I'm just a little pat myself on the back there because the defense just putrid. I mean, they were bad the entire year. They were awful in this one. Couldn't get a stop to save their life. And then, Justin Jefferson, not really anywhere to be found in this one. TJ Hawkinson, obviously 10 for 129. He went crazy. But I still think, even with everything of them being a fraud and blah, 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 and 4th and 8, and you throw a 3-yard out route to your tight end in man coverage with the guy standing next to him. First of all, throwing it beyond the sticks would make the most sense in that case. But if you're going to throw it before, you would think, okay, this guy probably has some space to run maybe. Or it's zone coverage and there's a little gap that he can get into. Literally man coverage on Hawkinson standing next to him. Oh, great decision. That I'm, like I said before about the Charger game, flabbergasted. I saw that pass. I looked around. I said I was like, was there a timeout called? Did I miss something? Because I genuinely just couldn't believe what I was seeing. But listen, Giants move on. You want to talk about a team that was, projected to do absolutely nothing this year and have turned into something. They obviously make the playoffs. Brian Dable's got to be the coach of the year. Daniel Jones' best game of his career. And I mean, the leading receiver is Isaiah Hodgins, 8 for 105, 1 touchdown. Nobody knew who that was.
Nobody knew who that was.
And I mean, listen, you'll still say the Giants have no weapons, but they don't. But they got some. Hodgins isn't bad. Like, well, actually watching him play, like he's not bad. Like I think even if they got more weapons, he would still stick around. Obviously, you have Saquon. What was that?
Kenny Galladay.
Oh yeah. Listen, I will say Kenny Galladay laid a hell of a block.
That was a big block.
He had a catch in week 18 too.
Touchdown, not only a catch, Josh. You got to give him credit. First touchdown as a Giant.
It was nice. I thought he was ready to go there.
That's insane. But yeah, that was a big block.
A big block
for a guy that he could have easily just that could have just been a BS block. I don't care. I'm not getting my catches. I'm not getting my targets. That means he's in. That means he's all in. That means he's all in. Somehow, some way, he's bought in, which is good.
I mean, yeah, 30. God, the Vikings are such frauds. It makes me happy. Anyway, I talked about CJ. What do you got?
R.I.P. Denny Green. They are who we thought they were, and it's just let's start from the end to the beginning, because the 4th and 8 obviously is what everybody's talking about. What's so confusing to me about Kirk is against Buffalo, 4th and 18, you throw it double team to JJ triple coverage to Jefferson in a regular season game, but in the playoffs, you're gun shy. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's your last play of the season. I'm throwing it up to my best player. If he doesn't catch it, all right, cool. We threw it to Jefferson. He was triple double team. He couldn't catch it. But to not even look his way and to throw a 3-yard pass to Hawkinson. Now, granted, Dexter Lawrence was in that man's face. He got pressure. He was in that man's face, and that's probably what made him, that.
Well, did you see the explanation?
No, in the post-game press conference?
Yeah, so O'Connell went over to him immediately. You saw it during the broadcast of the bench. He went over to him immediately and started talking to Kirk. And Kirk's, I believe, you can read his lips, said I'm not. That's my bad or something like that. But after the game, it was, I don't know if it was O'Connell or Kirk said it, that he was looking at Jefferson. He was covered, and then he thought he felt pressure, so he moved up, and then he threw it to Hawkinson just to get a play. But like you said, I think O'Connell said that the only read on that play, the ball was supposed to go to Jefferson, no matter what. So even if he was double coverage and you didn't like the throw at the time, who cares?
Right.
The play is for him.
Right. It didn't make any sense to me. And then for the throw at the Hawkinson, he's not even past the marker. It's just classic Kirk Cousins. That's what it is. It's classic Kirk. He's a guy that you can win with, but he's not a guy you can win because of. Shout out to Dan O. That's what he made. Every time he talks about quarterbacks, that's the tier. Those are the tiers. Are you a guy that you can win with, or are you a guy that you can win because of?
He's the caboose, not the locomotive.
Right. And Kirk, yeah, exactly. And Kirk, he's gonna put up those little cute numbers, the 32 for 38 for 280 and 2. That's what he does. He's been doing that since he was in Washington. We see this, but there's a cap. There's just a cap on that. He's a franchise quarterback, but he's not a franchise quarterback that can take you to the promised land. So it's just, for Viking fans, I feel for Viking fans because you really don't know what to do, because he plays well, but then it's just, there's moments where he just looks below average. Unfortunately, the defense was sad. They went out sad, man. Seriously, they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop Saquon or DJ on the run. Their corners and secondary, I don't know what they were doing. Patrick Peterson, he's past his prime, way past his prime. Hodgins was a guy that was in Daboll's offense in Buffalo, so he knows his offense really well, and I think that's one of the reasons why he had a great job. He had a great game on Sunday. He knows the offense. It seems like he has really good rapport with Daniel Jones. Every time that Minnesota went zone, he knew how to just sit in that zone, and DJ would just give him the rock. He had a big-time Tony toe tap catch on the sideline. Big catch, got both feet down. That was a big Slayton outside of the drop. We thought it was going to be the the play that we were going to be talking about before Kirk did what Kirk did. He had that, but before that, he was making big plays. He really played well. He stepped up. That was good to see. And I texted Connie about Saquon. I'm happy that Saquon is getting this opportunity to show how great he is. I'm just happy to see it, man. And I like the way Dayball's used him. He's kind of using him like McCaffrey. He's not rushing him 33 times up the tackles where he's just getting beat up for the majority of the game. 15 rushes, using him as a receiver. He had a nice little one-handed catch to extend the drive on the left side of the field. And, of course, the touchdown, kind of really set the tone for the Giants in the beginning of that game. And last but not least, Daniel Jones, 379 total yards, 79 rushing. You go man and you turn your back to him and you don't have a spy, he's out of there. I mean, he's a fast guy. We clowned him for the 80-yard run where he tripped over and fell, but he was running 80 yards. He was moving. He was definitely moving, and he's a deceptive runner. And if you don't have fast linebackers to put a spy on him, he's gonna 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and the play breaks down. He's gonna get those 7 to 8 yards easily and get the first down and extend that drive. He's one of the best mobile dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL. And Brian Daboll, you talked about Coach of the Year. I think he should win. Sirianni, I mean, what he did this year with the Eagles was Kyle Shanahan. Also, I think those three guys. It's going to be a race between those three guys. But what Daboll has done with this team, man, it's just been sensational. It really has. He turned Daniel Jones into a guy where people was calling him a bust. People were calling him a bust from the moment they called his name on draft night. ESPN, they were clowning him. They were saying, what is this pick? They should have never got him.
Now people want to give him $40 million a season.
I mean, you win a playoff game and you step up like that, you're gonna have definitely a case for that type of contract. But Daboll did a great job, man. He called it a masterpiece against Minnesota all season. They've been able to win close games. They're tough. Man, it's just I was really impressed. I was really impressed by the New York Giants on Sunday. I know Minnesota's defense wasn't good. We saw them give up 40 to Dallas. We saw them get blasted by Philadelphia in the regular season as well. But for the Giants to go to Minnesota in a hostile crowd and to score touchdowns too, because that was the thing that I was really concerned with. Because I knew they could move the football, but were you going to be able to score? You got to get 7. And for them to get 31 was a big time game for the Giants. So great game, and they're going to meet up with Philadelphia again in that third time. Seeing each other for a third time, and that it's going to be a close game. It just is. And lastly, for the Vikings, Dalvin Cook, man, you're not going to run the football. What's up? Listen. This is the thing with Connie. Like, get these offensive minded head coaches that favor the quarterback. I'm all for that, but you also got to understand. Also have to have a complete game. You have to have a complete offensive game. Just because you have a great quarterback doesn't mean you have to have him throw the football 50 times. Use those other guys that you have. Use those other weapons to take the pressure off those young guys. And I just feel like Cook just got lost in the game. He had zero impact, and he's your second best offensive player.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings. Connie. He did say that many times on the show throughout the season, how much of frauds they were, and how they just won't take it far regardless of the record. I think they were negative 81 point differential through 3 quarters and like plus 84 in the 4th quarter, which is just insane. But for the Giants, I mean, I think Daboll should be the coach of the year. I know Sirianni's record is better, but I think the Eagles did a lot this offseason to get better. Like, they went and got Hassan Reddick. They went and got A.J. Brown. The Giants didn't do anything this offseason. No. It's the same team we saw last year, and they actually lost James Bradberry. So it's not like they made an overhaul. They just went and got a good coach, and he turned it into this. And
he was the overhaul.
Yeah. I've said it on the show. Daniel Jones is like a discount Josh Allen. He's mobile, and he's got a good arm. Like, he can do a lot of things Josh Allen does, not as good. That's why I said discount.
I know.
But Saquon in that game, I mean, That spin move he put on Harrison Smith was disgusting. One of the cleanest spin moves ever. I mean, that outside run he took, I mean, it is really nice to see him, healthy and being able to showcase what he can do out there. The reason he was the number 2 overall pick when we're in an era where that's very frowned upon, taking a running back that high in the draft. But, yeah, it was a good game for the Giants. I mean, I think they're going to be a real tough test for the Eagles. I think that's going to be a real situation there. Dexter Lawrence, the way he was getting to the quarterback there. Hurts, obviously, much more mobile than Kirk Cousins.
Just a tad.
And Kirk Cousins, I mean, that check down, it's okay when Josh Dobbs does it, in a must-win game because he just got with the team in Tennessee. When he does that in a must-win game, it's like, okay, he just got there. But this is Kirk Cousins. You're supposed to be a guy here. You're supposed to be the face of the team as a quarterback. And, I mean, I think it was just panic mode. He's like you guys were saying with the, win with, win because of. Kirk Cousins definitely falls under that category because a guy like Josh Allen and Mahomes escape the pocket and extend the play and make a throw on the sideline or something. And Kirk,
I feel he could have ran for that first down. Yeah,
I agree. He didn't move. He didn't move out of the pocket. He was panic. He was in panic mode. He frozen in the headlights. He saw Justin Jefferson wasn't open. I thought Osborne was going to come open over the middle. That was a much better throw he could have made. And then, the check down to Hawkinson. And you're asking TJ Hawkinson to just first off beat the guy right in front of him, then get 8 yards and avoid contact and get the first down. It's just too much to ask, even though Hawkinson's a great tight end. That's way too much for him to do there. But, yeah, that's Kirk. And, I mean, we'll have to see. Do you guys think it's still Kirk next year, too, for the Vikings?
Wait, one more time? Sorry.
Do you think Kirk is going to be the guy for the Vikings still next year?
Absolutely.
You don't think they're worried now?
I mean, I don't know what their choices are.
Yeah, I don't think they don't have a lot of draft picks. Their draft capital isn't great.
The Colts would be interested in them.
I think you're going to give CJ a stroke right now. I think the Colts are finally going to embrace the rebuild and draft somebody.
Please. Oh my! I mean, it's these Band-Aid quarterbacks. It's just not working for Indianapolis. Just start over. Your division is trash. Like, what's the
you got the Jags there now. Come on. I think the Jags are a problem next year.
No, they're a problem, but I'm saying, I mean,
you got Calvin Ridley next year.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Didn't they give it like nothing? What was it, like a fourth?
Yeah, it was like a 5th round pick.
Fifth, yeah. Just Atlanta was just like, here, take him. Wow.
Because of a betting thing. Because of a betting. He ain't killed nobody.
Yeah, he's innocent. He didn't do nothing.
I forgot about Calvin Ridley, man. On Jacksonville, yeah, they're gonna be dangerous. Yeah, I mean Kirk. Yeah, I think they run it back. I think they run it back. I think they run it back because what other option do you have? Like Connie just said, I mean, you really don't have any other option. And they did win 12, 13 games. So that's kind of his leverage call right there. Todd, appreciate you, man.
Shout out, Todd, bro. I'll see you later. I'll see you later on the late show. Listen, everybody. Let me throw this up one more time. You know what I'm saying? While you're here, I'm just saying, you might as well like and sub to Doubted Views and Generational Sports if you're watching over there on that YouTube channel as well. Make sure you like and sub. Turn on the notification bell. We got the late show coming up after we're here. Chris will be there as well. You'll see me. You'll see Todd. You'll see a lot of the guys from Doubted Views over there, and should be an excellent show. We'll finish up here soon, and then I'm gonna hop on there for a little bit. So, but yeah, that's what a question I wanted to ask you guys. What do you do now? You only have one franchise tag. You don't have Saquon or Daniel Jones signed. Who's your priority? Because
Saquon, I think you franchise tag Saquon and give Daniel Jones a contract. I think that's probably the safest.
I would see. I think I would do the same thing, and I'm not that big of a fan of giving running backs a big second contract or anything like that. But I feel like I can find Daniel Jones production somewhere if Saquon is decent. And
wait, what do you mean? Elaborate.
Yeah,
listen, as fun as Daniel Jones was this season, right? And people, he had like 15 passing touchdowns, and then like 7 on the ground, and I think something along the lines of like 7 interceptions. I can find that somewhere.
Can you though? Can you find what Daniel Jones does with his legs as consistent?
Listen, with his legs, no. With his legs, no. I'll agree.
Not a lot of offensive talent on the outside.
I'm not going to lie. I think I would rather trade for Derek Carr or Jimmy G.
Terrible.
Come on. We was doing so well. We were doing so well. We were doing so well.
So would you take Daniel Jones over Saquon then?
I signed them both, and I franchise tagged Dexter Lawrence.
That's ideal.
I think Saquon. I think Saquon and DJ would probably take a discount, just based off the year that they just had together. Where else are they going to go? Where else is D?
You don't think somebody's going to throw a bag at Saquon?
But of course.
So where else would he go?
No, but but you also
the Jets need a quarterback. You don't think they looked at what Daniel Jones did in the same stadium that they're in and said if the Giants had the 20th quarterback in the league instead of the 32nd, the Jets are in the playoffs. You don't think the Jets go?
But the Giants are good now. The Giants just had a really good year. Why would you even jeopardize changing up what Dabble just accomplished?
Money is a wonderful thing, Josh.
But he's not gonna. Derek Carr is gonna cost more than what Daniel Jones' contract is.
Yeah, but because I think they're going to cut Derek Carr, so then you can sign him to whatever you got to sign him to.
That was very stupid for them to say that before trade offers are coming in. Like,
well, Raiders have never been the smartest people in the world. Let's be real.
Why would we trade for him if you're going to cut him?
Put Carr on the Giants. Might be a sleeping giant.
What are we talking about? What?
He couldn't do anything with Devontae Adams and Darren Waller. What's he going to do with Dan Bellinger and the guys in New York?
Okay, but he has Brian Dable, who just made Daniel Jones relevant. Daniel Jones was terrible before this year. They didn't even pick up his 5th-year option. He was that bad.
Derek Carr was awful too.
But what did John Mara say before the season? He said we failed Daniel Jones. That's what he said. He said we failed him. We didn't do a good job of developing him from coach down, talent around him. They didn't do a good job of that. The reason why I think the money is not going to be a deciding factor for both of those guys is because now they have structure. They didn't have that before. Now, if they had a bad season and they were one of the worst teams in the NFL, okay, I'm with you. But they just won a playoff game together. Them together with Saquon's rushing ability and DJ's rushing ability creates a dynamic offense. All they need is a home run threat on the outside. OBJ reunion maybe. And I think they're going to be really good. They're well coached. You're going to go to the Jets.
The Jets have more weapons.
The Jets have more weapons, but they don't have the structure. They don't. They just fired their OC. They don't even have an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Right. So DJ's gonna leave Dayball.
You act like they're not gonna hire another offensive coordinator.
But is he gonna be what Dayball is for the Giants?
No, not. It's impossible for me to say yeah. There's no way.
Okay.
Who are they gonna bring in?
But you're going to a place with statistically a better defense and more weapons. If you want to be honest with you, if you want to be realistic, the Jets have a better team than the Giants. The Giants are just much better coached, obviously, because Brian Dable.
Okay.
That kind of adds to the team aspect.
That's it right there, bro.
Designing the offense, that adds to the team aspect.
As soon as they don't even have the talent, but they have the coach, and they got to the playoffs. So just wait until they get the talent. What are we talking about?
What are the Jets win? 7 games? Are they 7-10?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 7 and 10.
Daniel Jones is on that team. They beat the Patriots twice. That's already 9.
And I can't say that because they didn't. Because we just talked about how Dayball helped develop DJ this year. So I don't know if DJ's going to look the same in a Jet uniform.
All right, fine. He's taken that year of development. He knows what to do now. Shout out Brian Dable for the coach.
So you're going to leave? Why not keep that going?
That worked for you, got you to the best spot in your career. You're like, okay, I want to go.
So now. What if the Giants? So you're telling me right now the Giants offer him 32. The Jets say, "Screw it, we need a quarterback. I'll give you 40." He's not leaving.
No.
Why
for $8 million difference when you have structure?
Be a lot more than $8 million.
When you have structure, versus the Giants are much better.
You don't think somebody would leave over $8 million a season?
Not
I don't think Daniel Jones is worried about money too much.
Because you also got to think about what else. Okay, he
Since
leaves.
when is somebody not worried about money, Josh?
I don't get a greedy vibe from Daniel Jones. Like,
I really don't get. He's really low maintenance. He's low maintenance as hell. He doesn't post on IG. He doesn't do anything. He's just chilling. Like
he's Eli
happy with the Giants.
His last post on IG was 2020, bro. Like he just doesn't associate with social media. Now, granted, like he really didn't have a need to go on social media. He probably would have got ripped because of the years past. But he just left. He just had a season where he has a structure at head coach. They believe in him. And I just said the owner of the team was like, we failed you. So that's acknowledgement. You think Woody Johnson is going to I don't hear Woody Johnson saying we failed Zach Wilson. I don't hear him
they're throwing him under the bus. They don't like that. Why would he go there the way they treat quarterbacks?
You want to know why? You want to know why you haven't heard Woody Johnson say that they failed Zach Wilson? Because they didn't. They have surrounded him with they gave him Garrett Wilson. They gave him a top 5 defense. They gave him one of the best running backs in the league till he got hurt in Breece Hall. They didn't fail him. He failed the team because he sucks and he's terrible at football.
I get what you're saying. I think if it's an $8 million difference, and I'm like, okay, over here is 32, but I get a great coach, a great organization. I could hand the ball off to an excellent running back.
You can hand the ball off to Breece Hall.
But Breece Hall's he's good. He maybe become better.
He was gonna be the leading rusher in the NFL.
He may be better than Saquon down the road. But right now, it's not. Come on, what are you talking about? So I see what you're saying, and I think again, if both teams were trash and then it was a money situation and it was 40-32, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, but they just want to playoff. There's no way. If Daniel Jones has the self-awareness that I think he has, I think he stays with the Giants. I think him and Saquon, they take a hometown discount and try to figure. And they got to figure out something with Dexter Lawrence
now.
too.
No,
it hasn't worked out for many players leaving to go to play for the Jets. That has not worked out for
Le'Veon, Favre.
It's a new era, baby. It's a new era. CJ,
it's a new era for the Giants too.
But CJ, I got one thing here. Now DJ is going to take a hometown discount, but we come on the show every week and talk about how Lamar should get every dollar he wants.
That's a big difference.
The difference is, again, this guy had the best year of his career this year, right? Under with some structure, stability. And I think the same thing for Lamar too. If the Jets offer him 50, if the Jets offer him 58, and the Ravens offer him 50, you think he's going to the Jets?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think
Lamar's done it with the Ravens anyway this year. I think it's over.
Oh, turn off the TV, bro. Turn off the TV.
I gotta go to his Twitter. This man's tweeting about his own injuries without even talking to John Harbaugh.
Yeah, because everybody's saying he's faking the injury. He doesn't want to play. That's why he went out and did that. And that's why he did that.
But then Marlon Humphrey came out and said he's been limping around.
He's not, bro. He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay at Raven, bro. Ravens take care of their guys. They take care of their guys. So that's one.
Yeah, they haven't taken care of him.
That's the problem.
But that's the most they're ever gonna pay a guy. So they got to get that number right and make sure it's even on both sides.
I think they take care of Lamar, man.
They took care of Roquan Smith.
I'm hoping they don't. I want to see Lamar in Carolina, but in reality, I think he stays there. Hey, we got bags.
I got some money. Yeah, Tepper got dollars.
Isn't Tepper like the second richest owner?
I think after the Denver buyout.
Yeah, Denver because
they got the Walmart bag.
Yeah, they got
the Walmart bag. It's crazy.
There's not a thing on the planet that they can't buy.
Yeah.
By the way, well, I'll sell the rights to this show to Walmart right now. I mean, if you guys are ever watching, let me know.
Generational bread on Gen Z.
Yeah, what are we talking about? All right, let's get into these last two games pretty quickly here because I know the late show is coming on, and then we'll make our predictions. Ravens and the Bengals. Slow game, but like we said, third time they're seeing each other. Obviously, the big turning point was that Sam Hubbard 98-yard fumble recovery for the touchdown with I can't think of the quarterback's name.
Tyler Huntley, yeah.
Tyler Huntley was trying to, QB sneak, jump over the pile like he's, an Olympic high jumper or whatever.
Try to be like Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or Josh Allen or somebody like that. Gets swatted out of his hands. 98-yard return. By the way, he was mic'd up for that. Very funny when he got back to the sideline. But that was the turning point in the game. Obviously, the Bengals end up winning it 24-17 with a showdown with the Bills up and coming. Nothing crazy that I took out of this game. Like we said before, I think this was just the classic, they saw each other for the third time. Division rivals as it is anyway. Got heated a couple times, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think that the whole game was that turnover on the goal line. The Ravens had made some plays. The DeMarcus Robinson touchdown was really nice. Eli Apple bit on the slant, and DeMarcus just went. So that was really nice. But I mean, it just that turnover is that's the playoffs. That's football, baby. That's how it goes. You go from okay, we're gonna get a touchdown here pretty easily. We just got to get it up the middle. Which surprising. What down was it when they did the sneak?
Was it
third?
I want to say it was second or third. I don't even think it wasn't the fourth. So
I think on the 2, I think he probably handed off, trying to get to the 1, and then sneak. And I'm not a big fan of the jumping over the top. I think you and your center control when the play starts. Just go behind him. Your fullback and running back come in and push you in. I mean, unless you're Cam Newton or Josh Allen, that's when you jump over the top. But it was a dangerous play there. It didn't work out. J.K. Dobbins said some stuff about it too. But that play is really the turning point of the game. Prochet almost had a chance on that last second.
Bro, I thought he had it.
It looked like it was going to be in his hands. Those are tough plays. When I see people actually make those catches, like it goes through the pile of the Hail Mary and someone in the back makes the catch, I'm like, how do you even – because that's like a split second, like, oh, they didn't touch it. It's right in my hand. So that's a tough play for him to make. But, that turnover, that was the game.
Yeah, that turnover was the game. I felt like they should have went to JK on that in the red zone. And I agree with you in terms of QB sneaks. The only person that I saw that jumps over the line like that into the end zone successfully, he did that over and over again, was Damian Thompson. He was the only guy that he did that all the time. Anybody else, I'm good. I'm good. Just like you said, push those guys. You need 1 yard, 2 yards. Get the fullback, running back, center. Hit that little gap, that little right there in the A gap, and score the touchdown, man. Just trying to be too cute, at the wrong time, and it hurt the Ravens. It's unfortunate because that would have been a big upset. That definitely would have been a big upset. But Cincinnati, they were able to get it done. And Sam Hubbard, was it a block in the back on Mark Andrews? Yes.
Still a hell of an effort by Mark Andrews.
No,
I thought he had him.
He got blocked in the back. That's why he got blocked in the back. That's why he didn't get him. But listen, nonetheless, yeah, like great effort. He was hauling, bro. He was hauling to get there. That's something that you want to see, man. That's a guy that you definitely want to play for and be a teammate of.
That's like that Dallas Bills Super Bowl, that famous clip where the
Leon Lett, yes,
yeah, Leon Lett,
yep. And then you go back to us, Benjamin Watson. It was a regular season game, but he against the Broncos ran down, got the fumble after Brady threw
DK.
DK Buda Baker, yes, effort, man, effort. That's what we like to see. That was great to see from Mark Andrews for real. But Cincinnati, they got it done. They're on to the next, and that's going to be like I said earlier, that's going to be a big game because of everything that we talked about.
So excited. All right, final game before we make our predictions: Cowboys and the Bucks. Absolute blowout. It was never really a competition. Listen, I was a little concerned because, Dallas had been turning the ball over a lot. Dak looked lost in that last game of the season. I think the Bucks had like 7 turnovers in their last, 3 or 4 games. So they were really picking it up. The last time all the starters actually played the full game was that Carolina game where Mike Evans went crazy. So I thought maybe they got some of their mojo back, as Josh shakes his head. But it was not to be. The first, 4 drives combined were just absolutely terrible. It was 3 and out for the Cowboys, 3 and out for the Bucks, 3 and out for the Cowboys, 3 and out for the Bucks. And then the Cowboys finally went down, ended up scoring that touchdown, and really just took off from there. Bucks offense could never get it going. It was the same thing we've seen all year. They can't run the ball. It was just not possible, even with getting Ryan Jensen back. Brady and Mike Evans were off the entire night. I mean, there were times where it looked like Evans was going to stop, in the middle of the coverage, and then, he would continue back upfield again. Some frustration from Brady, who, threw that terrible red zone interception, which, really turned the point in the game. Of course, right after they showed that he had never thrown a red zone interception with the Bucs. I think he had like 92 touchdowns, either sneaking or throwing and no turnovers in the red zone as a Buck. And of course he does it immediately. So that was a big turning point in the game as well. But Cowboys looked like an absolute machine in that game. And you got to you got to give them some credit, but I wonder how much credit I give them, because I mean, were the Bucs the worst team left in the playoffs? Honestly, I mean,
I can say, yeah, definitely. Yes.
So, I mean, it's a good win for them for sure, and they did what they were supposed to do. You can't take credit away from that, because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They beat down on a team that they should have, and good for them. They're going to move on, and they face the 49ers. We get a nice little rematch of last season, and I think it's going to be a hell of a game. But yeah, good one on the Cowboys. The big thing after the game was Brady with his little, thanking everybody, for being nice to him for over the seasons and things like that. So you wonder, is that more of a retirement thing, or is that more of like he knows he doesn't want to go back to Tampa Bay?
What do you think it is?
I think he plays. I don't think he wants to go out like that. People had mentioned the 49ers again. I don't know if that would happen, especially after what Brock Purdy's doing. The Raiders, that would be interesting, but their defense is terrible. Their offensive line isn't very good, but they can run the ball. They can run the ball, and they have Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, and Hunter Renfrow. So maybe you get Brady, you try and move some cap around to get, an offensive lineman and shore that up maybe in the draft and through free agency. And then, you have Darren Waller, like I said, Tom Brady, Devontae Adams, and then you hope that Max Crosby can just backpack the defense into not being the 28th ranked defense like they are every single year. So I think that's the more likely thing, that he plays again, goes to a team like the Raiders. I mean, does he pull a Brett Favre and play for the rival Jets? I would hope not. It'd break my heart slightly, although I would get to see him play every single week on cable, so I'd be all right. But
TJ disgusting.
Yeah, I'd lose respect for him for real if he went to the Jets.
I would definitely be hurt. I would be hurt. But
I would lose respect for him. Like, just hang it up, bro.
But yeah, I think he plays, and yeah. CJ, how about you? I guess
Dak needed this game. He needed this game, man.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Because if they would have took this L, get bounced out in the first round again.
Mike McCarthy's gone.
You think so?
If they lost, absolutely.
No, I don't think so.
I know Jerry said that he would have been fine. Hell no.
If Sean Payton was ready to go and said, I'm going to Dallas, then yeah. But if it's not Sean Payton, I don't think he might.
I think he would have, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. They Sean Payton would have been that guy. I think so.
Jerry Jones would have said first round pick and $20 million. Okay.
Back to back 12-win seasons. That would have been tough. That would have been a tough thing to get rid of. But we don't have to worry about that because they got it done. That the interception by Javon Curse, that really changed the game right there, because Tampa Bay, they were driving down. I was like, okay, we're about to have a nice little back and forth here. And after that drive from Tampa Bay, they were just flat. Their offense was just flat for the rest of the game. Dak, the one thing I said about Dak, and I said this on the show. I've said this on the show. I was like, man, you have to use your legs. You have to use your legs, my guy. You have to, bro. You're a dual threat guy. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Nobody's open. You do it. You do it. You go get the first down with your legs, and he did that. He did that last night. He balled out. I know he probably might have some PTSD after the ankle
I was
injury.
just about to ask you that.
Yeah, against the Giants. So I get it, but now we're 2 years removed from that injury, and he needed this game, bro. So I'm happy. I'm happy he came out and played well. My only thing with Dak is he has a good game, then he has a bad game. He has a good game, he has a bad game. We saw the Commander game, dirt. Last night, great. So what are we, what are we going to get from Dak against the 49ers? I think the key thing for Dak is starting off well. Because San Fran, what happened? He struggled in the first half. He struggled in that first quarter last year. Then for fourth quarter come around, then he wants to start to get some drives together, start to play well. So if he starts well, I think that's really good for the Cowboys in that offense. Kellen Moore did a really good job of calling the game from an offensive standpoint. The defense, they were all in Brady's face. Micah didn't get home, but he was getting there. Had a nice little Dwight Freeney-esque spin move to get the Tom. So they did a good job defensively. And then for Tom, man, just hang it up, bro. Come on. I mean, what else does he have to prove? He's done everything tenfold. He's done more than anybody's ever done for a football player in the NFL. 7 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, multiple MVP, regular season MVPs, has all the records.
Player of the year.
He has all the records. What else?
He has
do you need to do?
35 playoff wins, which is that's the same amount as the Cowboys franchise.
Yeah, it's just nothing else for him to do. You're going to go to the Raiders and have Josh McDaniels be your head coach? Josh McDaniels not a good head coach. He's not. He's terrible situational football-wise. Darren Waller, he's great, but he can't stay healthy. Hunter Renfrow, he's great, but he can't stay healthy. So, I mean, you're just really looking at Devontae Adams and maybe Josh Jacobs if they pay him. And we already know the offensive line is hit or miss. Retire. Just hang it up, man. Go to TV. And let's see you in the booth. That's what I want to see. And I think the one of the key reasons why we didn't see Tampa Bay play well, they missed Gronk.
Oh yeah,
they missed that key tight end.
And that offensive line didn't help. I mean, you lost Kappa, you lost Jensen the entire year. Obviously, he came back for this one, and then who was the other one?
Marpet retired. Yeah,
I mean, that's the entire right side of the line.
Yeah, exactly. That was a big loss, and we saw Gronk was a big time. Had such an impact in that Super Bowl against Kansas City. 2 touchdowns in that game. He has great rapport with Brady in the red zone. Brady could just put it anywhere. He knows Gronk is going to get that. And they missed that this year. Cameron Brate and whoever they had just wasn't productive enough. So Brady, hell of a career, bro. And just hang it up, bro. Just hang it up, man. There's nothing else. There's nothing else for you to do in this league. Nothing else.
Yeah, retire, go to a new team. I just want him out of the division. That'd be nice to not worry about him all year. I don't think we'll know. It'll be a long time before we know because he retired this past offseason and wound up playing. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, there are a lot of teams, obviously, that would want him, and there's a lot of good opportunities with teams that have good offense, good defense, and no quarterback. So he has a lot of options there. But just for this game, I mean, I completely agree with you, CJ. Like Dak, at Mississippi State, Dak was known for his ability to run over people and run the ball. I do think there's some PTSD from that injury because you saw how they didn't even think about Dak running the ball in that naked bootleg.
Yes.
He was as wide open as it was for Peyton Manning when he did it. So, I mean, it was a beatdown by Dallas. Hopefully, Brett Maher's doing okay. We'll have to see what's going on with him.
That was the funniest thing I've ever watched, though.
That was bad.
I do think something interesting to see in the offseason, though, if Tom is gone, if they're like, we're done with Bowles, do they try to blow up that roster? Like, if they can't go get another quarterback, there's a lot of valuable and talented players there that other teams.
Tom retires, I'd call Derek Carr immediately.
Even Derek Carr, bro. So
at least he's a viable starting option.
It'd be a nice plan. It'd be a good plan B. Yeah, it's the best plan B they could do.
I mean, that's the best plan B you can have. To me, yeah. I mean, it's better than starting over.
Kyle Trask, yeah. So.
Right.
Who is their backup? Isn't it like Blaine Gabbert?
Blaine Gabbert,
yeah. Well, I'm good. Never been better, actually. Well, listen, we got predictions to make here, and I say we get right into it. We'll start it off on Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, I should say. The AFC Divisional Playoffs, they kick off. It'll be the Jaguars. They go and visit the Chiefs, 4:30. Chiefs are an 8.5-point favorite here. and I'm sticking with the Chiefs. Sticking with the Chiefs. Listen, Jags, nice run, but the Chiefs are a wagon. Maybe next year, you get Calvin Ridley back, another year of development of Trevor Lawrence. Maybe the defense gets better. You add some more pieces here or there, whatever. You can start competing for real. But I think you're going to run into quite the buzzsaw in Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, win or lose this game, most likely lose. It's a successful season for them. I don't think they're expecting to go in there. Well, obviously, as a team, they expect it, but realistically, they're not too upset if they lose this game. Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs, too.
I don't see the Chiefs winning. I don't see that spread. I think the Jaguars are gonna make it close. I think they are gonna make it close.
8.5?
8.5. Yeah. They have a lot of confidence going into this game. Josh Allen, the guys they could get to the quarterback on that front four, and again Doug Peterson. It's a great chess match. Doug Peterson versus Andy Reid, teacher versus student. That's going to be interesting to see, interesting to watch from a situational football standpoint. Both of those guys have Super Bowls. That's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be closer than what people expect, just because I think the Jaguars have a lot of confidence on how they played on Saturday. But all in all, I think I'm a favorite Kansas City in that matchup.
We round out Saturday night with a nice little NFC East divisional rematch. Well, not divisional rematch, NFC East division rematch in the divisional round.
Yes.
Right. Third time's a charm maybe for the Giants as they take on the Eagles. I don't believe so. Once again, I think the nice story ends here. We saw what happened the first time the Eagles played. The Giants, it was, a blowout. The second time they played, it was closer. That was Jalen Hurts coming, first game back from that injury. I think he's had time to rest it now. Everybody had that week off, get a little healthy, get the O lineman, back. I think a nice little reset here, and I think the Eagles come out on top here.
I'm a little tempted to take the Giants just because we all want the San Francisco-Philly matchup, and the football gods are cruel very often, and Philly might have an off day. They haven't looked amazing towards the end of the season.
That's true.
But I think I'm going to still go with Philly. I just like their secondary way too much when it comes to big plays, because I do think it's going to be a close game. I think that secondary is going to make the necessary plays to shut down the Giants.
Rolling with Philadelphia as well. I think it's going to be a close game. Again, what we talked about, divisional rival. It's definitely going to be close. Saquon versus Miles Sanders, two former Penn State teammates going at it. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's going to be fun to watch. Two mobile quarterbacks in Hurts and DJ. I'm a roll with Philadelphia. I just don't feel like this is not Minnesota's defense that the Giants are about to go up against. This is Philadelphia. They've done a great job all year playing complementary football at the highest level, right there with San Fran. I think they get this one done on Saturday.
Then we have what to me is the best game of the weekend. I can't believe that this isn't the prime game, the prime time game, I should say. The Bengals and the Bills, obviously in Buffalo. Man, it can go either way. I got it. Listen, I'm going to go with the Bills. It's at home. You got the whole DeMar thing. I think they get Hyde back for the game, and it makes a huge difference having both safeties there, because now you can attempt to take Jamar and Higgins and Boyd out.
So many weapons.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But hey, Bills got Diggs, and playoff Gabe Davis is a different animal. We talked about playoff Lenny, a couple of years ago. We got playoff Gabe Davis. So I'm going to go with the Bills. I think Josh Allen makes one more play than Joe Burrow makes, and the home field just helps out a little here.
It's tough to pick against the Bills, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. They just find a way to get things done in the playoffs, whether it's just luck on their side or just how good Joe Burrow is and all the weapons they have. I think they're going to get it done, and we're going to get Kansas City versus them again.
Rolling with Cincinnati as well. I just think he's going to be more surgical, more methodical, still aggressive, but safer. He's a little bit more safer than Josh. Josh has a gunslinger mentality. He's bound to, turn the ball over a little bit. I think that might hurt Buffalo's chances. But I think it's going to be a great game. I see a lot of points, even though both teams have really good defenses as well that we can't sleep on. But I think with the quarterback play and the offensive weapons, it should be a fun game. But all in all, I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Then we rounded out the Cowboys and the 49ers, that classic matchup that we had seen so many times before. I think the 49ers are a buzzsaw right now, man. I don't think there's anybody playing better football in the entire NFL than they are right now. They have the utmost confidence. They have – listen, we just talked about the weapons for the Bengals. I still think that the 49ers have more when you include Kittle, you include McCaffrey, you include Debo.
Yeah.
So I think they probably have the best defense remaining as well with the weapons that they have over there. Their offensive line is solid. There are not many weaknesses with this team, if there are any. Maybe the corners, and maybe if somebody keeps waiting, for that quote-unquote other shoe to drop on Brock Purdy. But I don't think it's dropping this week. I think the 49ers beat the Cowboys here.
Yeah, I agree. There's not too many games where you're interested in watching a tackle versus pass rusher matchup, but anytime Micah's lined up on Trent Williams, that's got to be where the focus is, because that's going to be a big part of this game. Same with Bosa and Tyron Smith, but I'm going with the 49ers too. They're just look unstoppable.
So much history between both of these squads, just Kanye alluded to. Wow. I'm going to go with San Fran. I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. But the Cowboys, they play with no pressure. I think this is, they're just playing with house money. They're on the road again. It's just us against the world mentality for Dallas. It's not like they're going to Jerry World where, they're chilling and everybody's watching them and there's so much pressure on them. They're going to San Fran, and this could be an interesting game. Dak, he's gonna have to have another spectacular game like he had on Monday night if they want to get to that title game. But I think just again with the weapons that San Fran has on offense, I'm not sure that Dallas has the secondary to to keep up with those guys. So I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Well, there it is. Those are our picks. That's a nice little recap. Listen, Josh, we're at 2 hours. We can do we'll do our little Mandalorian everything another time. But with all that being said, like I said, let me throw this up. Like and sub. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notification bell, and all that. You can find me, Anthony Conover _ on Twitter, as you see right there on your screen. We'll have my link tree in there for all the podcasts that I do. Obviously, me and CJ in the middle of a little bit of a rebranding here. We'll be back. Don't worry. Me and Michael have not split either. We're doing our own thing over there. We're kind of in the middle of another little rebrand too. So when all the baseball stuff returns, we will be back covering all of that. Until then, I hand it over to Josh to tell him what he's doing in life.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Jolin_4. Make sure you subscribe, like, and subscribe here. Also, Generational Sports YouTube channel too. If you're not watching it over there. Tune in next Monday, 7 Eastern.
My guys, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, man. Talking football with the bros. Definitely can't wait to do this again next week. Linktree/CJames9. Find everything that I'm working on. Count the Bucket. That's on Sundays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, covering all things NBA. Check me out, Michael Lawson, Nick Andre. Those guys do an amazing job. Man, thank you for having me.
Of course, you'll be back next week. We will be back next week as a whole, and we'll find out who's playing in the championship. We'll find out who won these fights over the weekend. Many things lay ahead of us, and we'll be here next week to cover them all. But listen, until next time, everybody, you have a good one.